Hello, my name is Kayla and welcome to Tips and Tricks Tuesday, where I show you all of the latest tips and tricks in PVFARM. Today I'd like to introduce you to a new feature in PVFARM that allows us to swap out our equipment in real time. If I come to my project assets, you're going to see the objects that have been loaded in. You see that I have generated using Nextracker with First Solar 480-watt modules, and I have a series with the different lengths here. So let's say I want to swap out my 10 strings, 60 modules, for a module with a little higher watt. So I'm going to go to the three dots, and where it says replace model, I'm going to click on 10 string 60 mod. That's going to open up this menu here. So what I will do is I will come to this other 10 string 60 mod, but using the 485 watt modules. At the bottom here, I can decide what point I would like to align my trackers by. Since we can see that the measurements for these are maybe a foot off, but still pretty close, I'm going to go ahead and leave this as aligned in the center. So I'm going to hit replace model. And we can immediately see that in my project assets, I'm using 638 of the 10 string 60 mod of this series and 0 of the 10 string 60 mod of the other. But if we want to verify, I can open up my property analysis and put my property type as module model and colorize, and I can now see that the red represents where I've used those 485 watts. The green is, which is all the other lengths of tracker, is going to be where I've used that 480 watt. Now let's say I don't want to replace everything in a certain size or everything in a certain series. Maybe I just want to replace one or two or even a run of trackers. I'll come down to this section right here, and let's say I don't want to replace all of them, but maybe I just want to replace a few. So I've come in and I've selected this run of tracker here. I'm going to open up its object details. You will see at the top here this little symbol that is our replace symbol. You're going to click on that and that will open up this same menu again. So now let's say I want to, what I have currently selected is a 10 string 60 mod. Maybe I want to make those a little longer. So maybe I'll go with this 3 string 7 mod. So in this case, I don't want to use my center line because that's going to make these go into the road, and that's not what we want. So I'm going to click on this, meaning that I want it to use the north edge or the northwest corner if both are selected to align this replacement. So I'm going to hit replace model. And there we see that in real time, I have replaced just this row with a longer tracker, and the rest have remained unchanged. So what's important to note here is, as you can see, because I'm manually overriding, we're going outside of boundaries and even into exclusion zone. Now, this is important to note because we've now gone outside of the layout that was generated for us by the software using the constraints that we provided. An example of these constraints being our boundaries and our exclusion zones. So this is a way that you can manually override what's been generated for you automatically and have a nice marriage of the two to get you the layout that's going to work best for your project. I hope this helps, and I'll talk to you next week.